Melanie trailer, and I'm popping in today to talk to you about the Attic Window Quilt Along. Attic Window is the very last pattern in my book, A Life with Quilts. So all year long, we've been working our way through this book, and we're finally at the very end. These quilt alongs every other month have been quite hectic for me, so I am actually bringing this out a little later. I usually like to give you like a month's heads up, but September has been crazy, so I'm late and I'm sorry. But hopefully most of you already knew this quilt along was coming. It's been on the schedule since last year. So October 5th is the day we start. You do need the book, so the book is available at meanderandmake.com. I'm going to talk to you about the quilts, and then I'm going to talk to you about the quilt along. So here is a picture of the quilt. This is Attic Window, and here's a diagram. Sometimes they're easier to see when they're in diagram. So that is it. It's 60 by 68 inches. Beginner friendly, and beginner friendly, very beginner friendly. And if you are somebody who likes very, very simple quilts, this is very simple. So there's nothing that's going to trip you up. There's no triangles. If you're sick of triangles, because I'm personally really sick of triangles right now, this quilt has no triangles. It has nothing like that. It's just straight line sewing. The block is a variation of a courthouse step, and they're really small blocks with really small pieces. The hardest part about this quilt, and there's nothing hard about it, but if I was going to pick something to be the hardest, it would be the setting. They're all on point. Don't let that scare you away though if you're a beginner, because we're going to walk you through that on point with videos, so your hand will be held. Let's talk about fabrics. This quilt uses 14 fat quarters for the foreground and 2 yards for background. So like I mentioned, the squares are small, the pieces are small. Might be best to stick with smaller prints. I think I'm actually using a couple of big-ish prints myself, so you know, use your best judgment, but definitely easier if you would stick with small prints, tonals, solids. So that's a little bit about fabrics. We've actually made up a whole bunch of bundles, maybe 5 bundles are available right now at meanderandmake.com. And we'll have more listed this weekend or next week. So we'll be making those bundles until the quilt along begins. If you go into those listings for those bundles, you can click on the background option. There's options for backgrounds of different colors. If you click on an option, it will show you what the quilt looks like in those fabrics and with that background. So it makes it a little bit easier if you're, you know, unsure, or if you don't have time to pick your own fabrics. I know it takes us all so long to do that, and we're so indecisive. I'm right there with you. But if you want a little helping hand, that is available to you. All right, so I think that is it for the quilt. Let's talk about the quilt along. The quilt along starts on October 5th. That's a Wednesday. Every Wednesday, a post will go out with the week's tasks, tips, videos, all that stuff. It will also have in it about this week's prizes. So I believe that we'll have 2 winners each week, except for the last week. I don't usually do giveaways on that very last week. So 5 weeks worth of prizes, 2 winners each week. To be eligible to win a prize, all you need to do is post your progress of this quilt on Instagram using the hashtag Attic Window QAL, and you also need to be following the sponsors. So if you go to the details blog post, I'll put a link somewhere around this video wherever you're watching it. If you go to that post, you'll see all the sponsors listed, and I've made it really easy for you just to click and follow it. All their links go directly to their Instagram, so click, follow, go down the list. If I do check each week when I choose a winner, I check and make sure that you're following. So you do have to be following to be eligible for the prizes. We have some really great prizes, some really great sponsors, thankfully. I always get so nervous about this part, but we have great people. We have fabric to give out, notions, patterns, long arm quilting. So lots of gift cards too. Lots of gift cards this time around. So you'll win something really nice each week. And I think almost every week you're winning multiple prizes. So it's not just, one small prize. There's some great prizes. I'm really grateful to all of our sponsors for being on board and helping sponsor this. I'd love it if you reached out and thanked them as well. That really makes it easier for me to get sponsors for these quilt-alongs. The posts go out every Wednesday, like I mentioned, and on the following Tuesday is when I choose the winners for that round. So, and I announce that on Instagram. So the giveaways only take place on Instagram. Everything else takes place, on the blog or email. But the giveaways is exclusively to Instagram. So if you've never been on Instagram before, I have video tutorials for showing you how to do that. And if your holdup of being on Instagram is anonymous, you can stay anonymous on Instagram. It can just be a quilty Instagram. I know almost everybody I follow is quilty exclusive on their Instagram. So join in and get connected. Having people to make quilts with is what makes quilt-alongs so much fun. It's not just a schedule or directions, it's having people to connect with. So I love seeing everybody make the same quilt in all their different personal touches or fabrics that people put on it. It's just a lot of fun to see. So I would stress that is one of the best parts of quilt-alongs, and I hope that you're going to join in on the connection too. If you don't have a copy of the book, or you're looking for a fabric bundle, my fabric shop is meanderanmake.com, and you can pick them up there. Like I mentioned, we are going to continue making attic window bundles, so look for those if you are, if you want to purchase a bundle. Also, this is a scrappy looking quilt, so if you have a big stash and you want to shop your stash, all you need is 14 fat quarters. The fat quarters are actually almost completely used, so that's a good thing. There's not a lot of waste on this quilt. So I think that is everything. If you aren't signed up for the Quilt Along, there's a link around this video to do that. And signing up for the Quilt Along will get the task and post and video delivered directly to your inbox every Wednesday morning. So if you don't want to do that, you can pop on the blog because it's up there too. So however you feel better about that. Sometimes you forget, and then coming into your inbox is really, really not helpful and nice. So I think that's it. Let me show you. I'm going to use my new fabric collection that comes in December. So I'm using Garden Therapy for my quilt that I'm going to be making alongside you. I'm really excited. There is a couple prints that I was worried about, getting cut off. That's probably a little bit big for this quilt, but I really want to use it. So I'm going to use it anyway. So, use your best judgment on that. And I wanted to show you my background because I'm very, very excited about this Kona yarrow with these prints. I was thinking I really wanted to make a saturated quilt, and this yarrow is going to get it done for me. All right, so I will see you on October 5th, and I can't wait.